All right, now we're starting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Q&A webinar for Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, Course 1. And so here with me today is, we've got several people. We've got Daryl Reeves. He is the co-presenter of the webinar course, or the video course, and also is Christopher Brown. And then with me is Christopher Power. So Christopher is going to take it away.
Okay, so we're just waiting for people to log in, but as we do, I'm just going to start off with a really simple approach. You've logged in today because you want to know about this course, Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs. And the actual title of it, Daryl and I chose because it literally says it all. It's about human design, but it's about how human design can be used by innovators and entrepreneurs in any area of life. Those who are on the cutting edge, those who bring about the innovation, those who start the new businesses or the new approaches to anything. So that's who it's for. It's not just business, but it's very much oriented towards people who are, really deeply involved in the business of living their life and the business of really making this world a better place and making your life a better life. Okay, now, in response to that, Daryl and I, what we did is we put together 28 videos to explain human design in a way that people could, at the end of it, understand what they were looking at when they were looking at their human design chart. We wanted people who are brand new to human design to be able to figure out what they've got themselves involved in. And we also wanted people who have been involved with human design for a long period of time to be able to get real value out of going through this again. So what we did is we took human design and the chart especially and what it means to you and deconstructed it. Just like taking a car, say you brought a brand new Mercedes S, and then we took out the manual and we took the car literally to pieces to show you how it works. Now, not for you to study. There are plenty of other intellectual study courses on human design that you may be drawn to get involved with. This is not about that. This is practical. So we took it apart so you could understand what you're dealing with and how it works. Right? We wanted to look at the whole setup of the car mechanically so you knew what you had, what the potential was. And then we put it all back together in these 28 videos. That's what we attempted to do. Now, again, I want to make clear, it's not therapy either. This is taking the car apart and then putting it back together again so you know what you're driving and what its potential is. And then you can decide how to drive the car, how to use the car, whether to put it in the garage and just look at it and isn't it beautiful, or to take it out and drive it to its full potential. So we put these 28 videos together to explain everything about what you needed to know about human design to get to grips with it on that level. And then we said, how can we actually put together a course that will take people from understanding human design on an intellectual level to actually living human design in their life. Now here's where the big distinction in people who are working with human design comes in. Many are studying it intellectually, and the smarter you are intellectually, the more tempting that is to do. I know I'm one of those people, and I can study it in incredible detail. And Daryl is very investigative by nature, and he can, question me for hours and hours and hours and hours about it. And there's so much to explore in human design. But if you just do that, you miss the point. You won't get the benefit out of this course that you're truly meant to get, that we intend you to get. because our goal is at the end of this course, you're living your design. In fact, you have been living your design, really consciously for at least 6 months as you work through this course. And you've seen your mind in action, you've seen your not self, you've seen the problem, you've seen what's creating the problems in your life, and you've seen the potential solution that you can choose to embrace. You've seen what's working great in your life and how you can take it to a new level. You've seen all of that. So what we did is we decided, rather than rush the information to you, because your mind is either going to want to rush into this information and digest all the 28 videos at once, or it's going to go, oh, I'm bored, I want to get distracted. It'll do one of two things. We wanted to give it to you with a week's gap between each video, so you can have your own experience of your own life, your own business, your own relationships, to really experiment with what we talk about in each video. In other words, remember, this is about living your design so that you get the real benefits out of it. Otherwise, just go back to what you're doing. Because if you intellectualize human design, you'll just end up where you are now, in a slightly more sophisticated and complicated place. So 1 week between each video to truly digest and learn from your own life's experience, and then every 2 weeks we decided to do a question and answer webinar with the people on the course, so that they could bounce their questions off me and Daryl and other people that I'm working with, and get feedback about your experience, because that's going to be the key. Daryl and I are not teaching you human design. We're in a sense guiding you with our understanding, and then your human design is teaching you human design. Your experience is going to be what teaches you what works here and what doesn't. And after 7 years experience, I can vouch, I can honestly say to you, person to person, face to face, that's how it works. Not understanding it up here, but through real life experience. That's when you discover the incredible potential that human design has to offer you. And that's where your mind slowly learns to trust what human design offers you. The options about making decisions, the options about turning up as a real individual in the world. Not necessarily fitting in, but finding where you fit. And it reveals to you how to live a life, not just that you were born to live, but truly a life that is filled with magic. That's my experience. Filled with simple experiences to really complex experiences that literally leave you at the end of the day breathless. It's like, wow, I had no idea that was possible, or I had no idea this was the way I was supposed to go. So that's why we designed the course the way we did, to give you the feedback from the videos, the learnings from the videos, where you can look at each aspect of human design as we deconstruct it and then put it back together again. And then time to really experiment with what you've heard us speak about in your life, and to then take the experiences you have and debrief them with myself and with Daryl and with others to really help you get clear about what's on track. Now, this is what I've used with the very best of my ongoing clients. You might call them coaching clients or whatever. The ones that have done this consistently over the last year or two particularly, they're having extraordinary experiences of really understanding who they are and living their design. Anything else is going to be just, here's the information, good luck, and we don't want to do that to you. Now, what we're looking for in this course is people who want to go that way, people who want to live their design. And to really make it worthwhile, if you want to get involved with this right up front, if this is right for you, what I want to point out is the Q&A webinars will only be done once live with the first group of people who do this course. In other words, you'll get the opportunity to work with myself and with people like Daryl and Carissa and Chris really closely, one-on-one, personal. Because after that, the webinars will become part of the course, and it'll be an evergreen course that can go on for years. But if you really want to work closely with me and Daryl and others that I work with, then if it's right for you, and only if it's right for you, I'm not here to twist your arm. I'm not here to make you feel desperate, because that's not going to work in human design. But if you're ready for this, this is the opportunity right at the beginning to work really closely with myself on living your design. Now, the course, yes, we've looked at the total value, and yes, it's not the total value. We're bringing it down to a smaller value, which we think we're willing to work with, and hopefully that will work for you. Now, if you can't afford it, go to the YouTube channel that I've created. There's tons of information there. Work with it. But if you can afford it now, and it is something you want to invest your time and energy into, if you really want to make this investment in yourself and your life at this most incredible time in history, okay, well, now's the time to jump in, because you'll get to work very closely with me as we develop this course. Now, the cost for the course is $497. That's what we're comfortable working with. That's what we feel, look, we feel is really good value for you. I mean, we know we've built in the most value that we can without pumping it up with all sorts of extraneous things that you don't need. Everything we've put in here, we believe will really help you with this 6-month intensive, you could call it, on living your design. And when you consider that, doing a personal consultation with me is $150 an hour, 400, that's 3 hours with me, basically, or 6 months working intensively with me, the group, one-on-one, with the whole group at the same time. I mean, to me, it's incredible value, but we want to do this because we want to make a difference in the world. We really want to make a difference in the world, and we want to start that by making a difference in your life. So that's me. That's what I have to say about it. Honestly, we don't want to take it any further than that, because basically that's me laying my cards on the table. What I now want to do is open it up for questions from those of you who are listening, and allow myself and Carissa and Daryl and Chris to add, their perspectives to it in response to what, your questions are. So if you have any questions, please send them in on the chat box, and we'll address them now. And I'll just throw it open to Carissa or Daryl or Chris if there's anything you want to just add to that while we're waiting for the questions to come in.
We've had one question so far, and it was in what currency is it?
US dollars.
US dollars.
It'd be great if it was in Thai baht, I know, but it's actually US dollars. If you're in Europe, no problem.
Great.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what else. Or somebody else. So I wanted to talk, just kind of fill in and talk about just how watching the course from going through and editing the videos and everything, and seeing how the first-hand experience that I got from watching the course was really amazing. Like they have really been able to break down like the chart and deconstruct it in a way that makes sense to be able to make, because it's so complicated sometimes, and your brain tends to make it more complicated than what it is. So I just loved how they were able to really make it down to earth and present it in a different way.
What was the essence of your experience, Carissa? You know, I mean, how did you feel, and what's it actually done for you in your life?
It has, what has it really done? Well, human design, I mean, just human design in general has just been so amazing. It's really transformed just the way I respond to stuff, the way that I make decisions, and and so the course in itself, there's I've learned pieces here and there, but there's pieces that I've been missing, and so having the course this way has been able to take it. So these are the pieces that laying out all the different pieces and then the order that we need to learn them. So that has been really good.
I can just say one thing. I have seen Carissa transform in the last year unbelievably. You know, one, she's become a projector and has slowly started divesting herself of acting like a generator. Two, she's doing the most extraordinary work. You know, her work has increased, the quality of her work, the quality of her sense of confidence in herself has just gone through the roof. And, you know, I've seen someone really transform into a butterfly who was not feeling that great about herself or was really trying to do something, and now she's doing it. She's living it. And is that true, Carissa?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear you say too.
Yeah.
The projector in me loves to be recognized, so that's awesome. All right, so we have a couple questions.
Yep.
Shelley asked, will this be suitable for individuals who have some experience already?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Shelley. I mean, we designed it so that people who, look, I've been deeply involved in human design for 7 years. I mean, full on living it. And Daryl had only heard a little bit about it for a few months before we did the course. In doing the course, I learned so much. I mean, it's extraordinary how, you know, in depth. In fact, I sometimes wonder where my understanding would be if I hadn't done it. You know, it just takes it to the new. Now, if it can do that for me, it will do it for anybody who's been involved with human design. You know, because here's the thing, it's not so much that you learn different information, although some of it there may be missing pieces that you haven't understood. But human design grows in you as a viable option, something that you can actually trust and live from through experience. And the more you go into it, the more you focus on it, the more you measure it and test it against your life experience, the more real, the more trustworthy it becomes. And so even if you know about human design, if you get involved with this, it's going to take your knowing to a new level. And that's what happened with Daryl and I just doing the 28 videos. And seriously, that was an extraordinary process. And I'll ask Daryl to talk about that in a moment. But who knows what the week gap and then Q&As is going to do for me and Daryl, let alone for you. You know, and if we're growing with you, then it's going to be a course that you're going to get a lot out of no matter what level you're at. We just want to make it so that people who have no experience can get value out of it, as well as people who've done human design for a long time.
I think, Chris, the fact that I'd only been into any sort of understanding of human design for, say a couple of months or so prior to doing the course was a tremendous thing, because it didn't leave me going into it with preconceived ideas. I went in like an open book, like a blank page, virtually, and I found the whole experience absolutely incredible and energetically uplifting. And because I'm an investigative type of person, I love the thrill of learning something new, but that doesn't buzz everybody up. I understand that, but I know that everybody does get buzzed up by outcomes, And I can say that already it's creating efficiency in me in the outcomes of how I go about making decisions. And I'm confident to say, as a business person, an entrepreneur, and an innovator myself, that this is a technique and a lifestyle that needs to be adopted, understood and adopted, and increasingly understood and developed by anyone in business, because for the simple reason, Christopher, that it works.
You can't argue with that. Yeah. Thanks, Daryl. I mean, watching Daryl transform in the last, what is it, 6 months or so that we've known each other, it's been mind-blowing. You know, just to be able to watch someone else when they're in their not self and then when they're in their true self, and the contrast and the experience they have moving back and forward, and the beauty, the true beauty in Daryl coming to the surface, rather than you know, the beauty that is developed in order to get along and survive in the world, you know, which we all do. You know, to see that the space being created for the true him to come out, and then see the value that he adds, it's extraordinary. You know, it's such a delight for me to see that. You know, and one of the pleasures I'll get out of doing this course is to see that in each of you who choose to be a part of this.
Motivating and truly helpful gems in the whole thing, and they're in every single video. There's always that, you know, magical moment, and I think that as people watch the videos over, you know, perhaps multiple times, those twists and turns in their perspectives will create, you know, richer and richer and richer understandings for them. And it's when you understand something that it gives you the power to keep going in the face of opposition or difficulty or challenges. But when you don't understand, you quickly bail and you run away because you don't really understand the truth. And I think that's another great power of this course that's going to impact people and give them tremendous resolve and the ability to stay on track, on the right track, not just on a track, but on the right track. And that's all the difference, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic. Any more questions, Carissa?
Yes.
Or?
All right, we've got Francesca is asking when or what is the registration deadline and when does the course begin?
Okay. We're looking at the moment at the 23rd of October. If you go, and the course will be beginning, basically it'll be either late October or very beginning of November, and then running right through to April. Again, as I said, we don't want to bombard you. We want you to be able to digest each episode or each module or whatever you want to call it, and really make it real in your life, or have a whole ton of mistakes and then be able to debrief them at the end of the week, so it's real for you. Chris, would you like to talk about that and how that's happened in your experience? Chris Brown.
Oh, he's trying to get unmuted.
You can hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. I was muted just in case the dog barked or something. Well, look, for me, you know, I'm very interested in understanding myself. You know, self-understanding and how I tick is really important to me. And the thing is with human design, it's very much helped me stay in the sweet spot, because human design creates an incredible feedback system to me. And it's, you know, since I've been working with you and hanging around human design, I didn't really think about it that much until right now. And as you were speaking, and I thought I was asking myself that question, what difference has it made to me? Well, it has made quite an impact and continues to. And you know, in decision making in particular, in my life I've made some, you know, royal mistakes, and you know, I observe how I've operated over the last many years, and I see myself. I've undergone a huge change. I've undergone a huge change in terms of allowing myself now to, I guess, I can see the difference much more clearly between my real and not real self, and the difference it makes and how I feel. So that's the most fascinating thing to me about human design, and I'm sure, though I haven't watched all the videos that you've put out there, and I know that every one has a bunch of gems in it that always take me on a little bit further and help me understand my journey better. So yes, I'm excited about this the series that you're doing.
Right.
Anyway, that's the impact that it's had on me.
But by the way, I'd like to just point out both Daryl and Chris have been very successful in their lives, in their own fields. And so this isn't just for people who are struggling. Look, you know, if you are finding it difficult, well, a lot of that is being created by the fact that the world is now moving in a new direction and operating in a totally new way than even the way it did 5 or 10 years ago. So this isn't, you know, so if you are struggling, it may not even be your fault. It may be just things have shifted and you need to get, as Daryl said, on the right track for you. But again, if you are finding it difficult financially, whatever, then this can really help. But it'll help you in a way that will take you into a life where finances are handled as part of living your life, you know, that you're truly born to live. Not handled so you don't have to stress about it. You know, you can survive. It's not going to do that. It's going to put you into a life where abundance is a natural birthright. What you need comes to you. And secondly, there are also people who are really successful that are ready to move to the next level because they know the world is changing. And they want to take their business, their innovations, their entrepreneurial ideas to the world in a new way that's going to relate to the people that are growing up now. You know, I read something from the originator of human design, Ra, last night, where he said, really, this knowledge is for children because, you know, adults tend to overcomplicate it intellectually. But a child, if you tell them, you know, you can make a decision with your mind or you can make a decision with this, they'll just do one and do the other and pick the one that works. You know, they won't want to philosophize about it, they'll just test it. So if you're, you know, that's the world that's coming up, where the children of today are actually consciously or unconsciously looking for what works. They're not looking for a philosophy unless it works for them. And they're going to respond to people who are coming from an authentic place without struggle. Not without challenge, of course, you know, life always brings up challenges, but without this drama that we create by making decisions with our minds. You know, they're going to look for a viable option and respond to it naturally. So there are many people, you know, from Richard Branson down, who are looking for how do we approach human beings in a new way so we can do business together, so we can help each other, so we can create wonderful lives together, including myself. What's it going to take? And human design addresses the bottom line of what it's going to take. And that's what that's what we are addressing in this course. And you can see in Carissa, and you can see in Chris, and you can see in Daryl, and hopefully you can see in me that we're more relaxed now about our lives, and where life is like a wonderful journey of discovery rather than a struggle to get out of problems. And that's what human design opens the door up for in the area of decision making. Anyway, enough speeches from me. Are there any other questions?
Yes. Monica asked, I would like to know what the difference in importance between the active gates that are red versus those that are black on my chart. And also, what does it mean when the gates are active both red and black?
Oh, great. Get the course and we'll answer that in the course. This is not a webinar about that today, you know. There's plenty of stuff. There's some stuff on YouTube about it where we talk into that. But, you know, you've just asked a question which would probably be answered in the first couple of weeks or in the question and answer, you know, webinars that we do. But no, because this webinar is for people who probably don't even know what a red or a black gate is. You know, so I'm happy to answer that, but at another time.
Right. Okay. All right. So Allison asks if perhaps the timing of this first group isn't right. When will the course be made available, as it's an evergreen course?
Okay. Well, it'll be. We're starting off the first course. We've set the completion date at the 23rd of October, and then we'll start the course there. Once we've got the first group, you know, really focused. Look, if we're not happy with the group, or they're not happy with us, or whatever, by the 23rd, we may be a bit flexible with that. You know, we're not trying to create scarcity. We're just trying to create a practical time to start. You know, most of the sales stuff that people go on with out there, I know it works, but it works by manipulating or activating the mind, and human design doesn't work that way. You know, it works authentically in, you know, people living their lives truly and then relating from that point. So after we've got the first group established, it will be opened up as an evergreen course quite soon after that. We haven't decided where, but it won't be like 6 months or a year down the line. We want people to be able to get into this, but the first group will be closed, and then we'll be working with the webinars with that first group. So depending on what's right for you in terms of timing and affordability and, you know, passion, whatever, go with that. You won't have to wait a long time to get in on the evergreen courses. You agree with that, Carissa?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not holding it back. You know, we want to make it available, but we do want it work. We do want to work intensively with a group of people at the beginning, so that we produce really quality, in-depth Q&A webinars.
Sounds good. Anne's asking, what if you don't know your birth time?
We can get around that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's ways of testing various birth times, and no, we may not fix it, but usually it doesn't make a huge difference. Sometimes it can, but then we'll work with you on that to get to the point where you know which one is correct for you. But normally it's not a big deal if you know within a day or within a few hours. It does affect certain other things we do later on, but in this course won't make a big difference. And if you really do need to know the exact time, there are various other ways that people use in astrology for nailing that down.
Ah, perfect. Okay. Jacqueline is asking, what does Daryl and Chris do for work?
Well, Daryl's not
And
here, but I can tell you what I do. Well, I'm a multi, if I may say so, talented. There's two kinds of work I do at the moment. I'm very involved in online marketing, digital marketing. That's what I do. Search engine marketing in particular. But not only that. I've had pretty well a whole lifetime in the building industry and developing building products and technology, and I still do that too. And I particularly design, build, and develop systems for building dome-shaped structures, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher's just been asked to do a whole new lecture series or something on dome building. I mean, the stuff he teaches people all around the world about building dome structures. Correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, as well as doing online marketing. Daryl, are you there, or Daryl had to? Yeah.
He had to step
Daryl's
out.
had to go. He has something to deal with this morning. I can fill you in. Daryl, for 20 years till he was 40, was one of the top world preachers in the Pentecostal church in New Zealand and Australia. He ran his own church in both, I think it was Wellington, and definitely Adelaide. And when he was 40, he left that and has been working in entrepreneurial businesses for the last 20 years. Basically business negotiation and helping people set up business deals. And he's a manifester in human design, if that makes any sense to you watching this, which means he goes in there and kicks things off, gets things started.
Cool.
At the moment, he's facilitating some quite large deals here in Asia.
And as far as me, I do a little this and a little that of all the technical back-end website graphic supporting and stepping into guiding and managing everybody in my projectorness.
And me, this is what I do. I'm doing it. Been doing it for 30 to 40 years now.
Perfect. All right, Francesca's asking, will we get to work on our own charts, getting the leader's perspective on the meanings of specifics? Okay, that's one question.
Oh yeah. I mean, you'll be working on your charts, but slowly. I mean, the first thing your mind will want to go in is analyse every little gate and line and da-da-da-da. We're going to step back in the first couple of things and really put the whole thing in perspective. Then we're going to start deconstructing the whole chart so you even know what you're looking at, what a gate is, what a channel is, what a centre is. Really just look, what am I even looking at here? Why is that thing triangle? What's that head on the top? You know, what's this red centre and this yellow centre? All that sort of stuff will go into that. And as we do that, in the Q&As, we'll be bringing up your chart because we'll be relating your chart to your life experience. So yes, we will be working with the specifics and the meaning of it, but it's almost like a 6-month consultation. I mean, Chris, you've looked at the whole video series. That's what it's like. It's but it's a consultation where you not only learn the details of the chart, but why the chart is the way it is, how it's put together, and what it can tell you about what it can do for you, how to use the chart in your real life. And in the process of that, particularly in the Q&As, we'll be looking at, oh, I've got this centre white, and I've got this centre coloured, and I've got this gate here, and I've got this channel. Of course, you know, that's why we're not going to have 600 people in the first group.
Well, that tailors straight into her next question.
Yeah, well, let me just say, we want the first group to be tight. I mean, we can deal with quite a large number of people, but we want everyone's chart to be available so we can discuss it. Okay?
Yeah, so her question was, is there a limited number of participants for the first 6-month course?
If we get to a point where we think that's enough, we'll stop it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to a point where it's going, oh my God, we've got 600 applications and we really need to work with 60 or 30 or whatever, you know, this first group we want it to be tight, but we also want people who truly want to be committed. You know, we don't want people who just want to, oh, I'm curious about this. Get the evergreen course, you know. People who just want, I want to live a life that I'm truly born to live. And I want to discover what human design can do for me, and I want it to change my life. I want it to improve my business, not the way I think it should be, but by taking me to the business that I really want to have. And I want to have the relationships that I experience true satisfaction in, not the ones I think I should be going for. And this is going to sort it out. So if we're going to do that, we're going to have to limit the first group to a work size group. You know, I mean, from a human design perspective, 16 would be ideal. You know, but we'll open it up if there's more demand for it. But if it gets, once we get to a point where in my gut I say that's enough, close it.
All right.
I just want to say, add something here. I've known Christopher for a long time, since the late 80s, I think, probably. And ever since I've known Chris, you know, way before human design, or he got into human design as an astrologer, numerologist, and scientist, Chris is one of the most passionate people you could ever meet. And anything that he's ever done with me and that I've ever done with him, he goes way over 100%, 200%. He's the most giving extra time and value person that you could get. And I know that anybody that comes into this course is just going to get so much out of it, just from Christopher personally, because he just can't help himself giving.
Thank you. Yeah, he's right. We wanted to make it affordable, but you're going to get real value for your money. Trust me.
All right, let's see. I don't think there is anything else. Do we want to just quickly run over what's included in the course from the link?
Sure.
The bullet points that we have.
Well, yeah. Okay. So let's just, if there are any more questions, please, jump in. Let's just go over what is involved. There are 28 videos. They're between 20 and 50 minutes long each, right? And so part of the beauty of that is if you're looking at them a week apart, it's not like you're trying to digest 20 videos all in 3 months or 3 weeks, which is what causes most people to give up. They buy these internet courses and then it's my life's demanding what it demands, and I haven't got time for this. We want to give you 20 to 50 minutes once a week that you can really go into, maybe once, maybe twice, whatever, and then compare it against your life experience. So it's 28 weeks in which there is a video, and then you consciously relate that video to your experience in your life. That's what's involved in the course. But you do it by living your life, so it's not taking you away from living your life. In fact, it's going to involve you more closely, more deeply in your life, probably than ever before. And then, at the end of each 2 weeks, that's 2 videos, 2 weeks of experience, we'll have a question and answer video, which would be probably 2 hours, maybe longer. Well, hopefully, we won't drag it out, but within 1 to 2 hours, where you get to talk about your experience. Now, again, it's not therapy. It's about, this is what I experienced. This is what's going on. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. Okay, what's your feedback on that? Okay, what did you learn from it? Okay, great. Now, this is your chart, da-da-da-da. This is your chart, da-da-da-da. Try this, try that. Drawing upon my... It's us working with you, not working on you. Right? We're here like you've got a community or a group within the course participants plus us that are working with you to help you really grasp what human design is for you in your life and then implement it so you can be the beneficiary. So that's what's involved. You've got these 28 videos, 1 week of experience, every 2 weeks a real debrief. Now, what else did we include with that?
Let's see. So the other question was, somebody just asked, Shelley asked, will you be running the videos on Mondays? So yeah, I guess the question would be more like, what day of the week are we planning on doing the webinars?
Hey, that's a good point because we haven't even decided.
We haven't been.
Look, I'm in Thailand, Chris is in Kansas City, Chris is in Byron Bay, Australia. Who knows where everyone will be in the world. We're leaving it open and a bit flexible so that, we'll decide when, and again, it's not going to be by committee, we'll decide a particular time. But we want to take into account everybody, a lot of people will be in America, I know, just from experience. So we'll adjust on that. No, we haven't decided yet, and we're definitely...
But if you can't make it, all the webinars will be recorded and then the replay sent out afterwards. Okay. And if you have any questions that, for the upcoming one that you want us to talk about, then you can pre-submit them, prior to that webinar, and then we can answer them, and then you can watch the replay.
Yeah. Well, see, also included in the course is going to be an MP3 of every video
Oh, yes, that's the next thing.
that you can actually take and listen to in the car or at work, or, you know, maybe not at work, in the gym or wherever you want. You know, you can re-listen to it in the midst of your daily life. You can put it on your iPad, your, you know, Android phone, your whatever.
And by doing it that way, then you don't use your data on your cell phone, or you have to find a Wi-Fi. So you can, it
Absolutely.
removes the excuses that you can't listen to them anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't have to chew up your data. The other thing is that the webinars, there'll all be replays as well. So if you can't make it at a particular time, pre-submit your questions.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Oh.
emphasising. I know you did say it. You know, it just gives you flexibility. You know, you're not trapped by this course. We want you to be able to interact. And, you know, if it doesn't suit you, or your child has to go to hospital, or, you know, things happen in life, pre-submit them. You know, and we will address them, particularly the pre-submitted ones. And, you know, we might boil it down to the essence. You know, because we're not here to answer every in and out that your mind comes up with, but we will answer what the real solution is for this for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on top of that, I think at the end of the course, the first 12 people who participate will get a 1-hour consultation with me after you've finished the course, or as part of the course. So for 12 of you, the first 12 people who purchase the program, they will get to, after the course, sit down and we just debrief the whole thing, or we explore where you take your business or your innovative idea or your life to the next level. That's all included. As I said, we wanted to add value without just stuffing things in to make it appear like we're adding value. There's a big difference, you know, in this. You know, internet marketing needs to go to a level where it speaks the truth, not just comes up with clever sales techniques.
Right.
You know, and you know, engage people emotionally and everything. But God, if anything's going to engage you emotionally, if anything's going to engage your body, human design will.
Mm-hmm. Right. Francesca asked, I forgot to mention at the beginning of this, we're like 30 seconds ahead in the future, so we're seeing questions live, but we're answering them 30 seconds later. But Francesca asked, do we submit questions ahead of the Q&A, and is there any live discussion? Which probably by the time she asked that, we had already just said it.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
so, yes.
yeah, there will be. You can submit questions beforehand, and as long as we can set it up in terms of the webinar and technically, if there's live discussion. And, oh, the other thing we forgot, there's going to be a dedicated private Facebook page.
Oh, yes.
Right, where all members of the course can actually share their experiences, you know, do what you do on social media, you know, vent. You're going to do therapy, do it in the Facebook thing, you know. Vent it. I can't stand this. My mind's going crazy, or whatever. But you can ask questions and you can give feedback to each other and you can share your perspectives.
And initially, that's where we'll have everybody share their charts too, so you can go through and see.
Exactly.
We'll have a specific album that you can. Everybody puts their chart in, and then you can be able to go as you're going along, be able to easily go back and find them. And I'm going to be one leading and organizing and guiding this. It's definitely going to be a Facebook group we're going to try to keep it organized and on point. So because I know how bad, I'm in lots of Facebook groups, and it's usually a fire hose. I mean, stuff constantly gets pushed down. So I'm going to try my best to keep it organized so that we can easily find the information. So if there's anything awesome, we'll make sure to pin it, or we'll be sure to link to it, so that we can keep it very, very on point and very helpful to you.
Yeah. God, even I'm getting satisfied now. And seriously, Carissa is so cool with all that stuff. She's one of the best public relations people I know. in terms of just relating to the public. You know, just really caring for and taking care of, and you know, making things get organised so that everyone gets cared for. I mean, she's brilliant at that.
Oh, thank you. There's one point that we didn't say. The lifetime access to all future versions of the course.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're just remembering all the things we put in. You'll see it on the landing page, but yes, by the way, we will upgrade and fine-tune this course over time. If you're, you know, once you're a part of the course, all the upgrades in the future of this particular course, you will, you know, you'll have access to those. So once you purchase it, you know, you're in.
What those upgrades would be is possibly re-recording the videos, providing more documents, that kind of thing. More tools to download, that kind of thing is what the upgrades would be.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got everything of the questions. Shelley asked, will we also use Google Plus? No, at this time we haven't really built anything within Google Plus. So I think
Could we, or is it?
We could, but then it'll be diluting the conversation. I think there's a higher percentage on Facebook, so that's where we tend to do it.
Okay.
All right, I think that there's no more questions. If anybody else has any questions, we'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll need to wrap up because we're getting on close to an hour.
Wow.
Time flies, right? When you're having fun.
Under an hour. God, even I'm learning something.
So one of the questions, or the frequently asked questions that we have on the page, was, do you only need to go through the course once? And so
that's a great question. You know, yeah, you only need to go through the course once. But living your human design is something that if you really take the step of going that direction, you'll be living for the rest of your life. And in that context, you may, and you will have the ability to do this, revisit the course at various points in your life. Because listening to the videos, I mean, I've heard them, well, I presented them, and then, you know, I've heard them again, and I still find myself listening to my own videos going, wow, that's a good point. Oh, I hadn't thought that before, you know. So the choice is yours. You can go through it once, and after that you can decide to, you know, it's your decision, it's your life. But my experience is that having the option to come back and revisit it is a great option. I've always had this motto that says the advanced work in anything is the basics done really well. Mm-hmm. Now this is the basics, as you know, as Daryl and I put it together. You know, it's not a study course that will give you a certificate. You know,
but we can do that.
A certificate at the end of this course is your life. You look around and go, oh my God, I'm not as stressed, I'm relaxing, I'm more true to myself, and my life is taking a track that I can sincerely, you know, embrace. That it's like, hey, this is great. That's your certificate. And along that way, there are times when you get to more advanced stages where revisiting the basics is the most powerful step you can take. The human design is not intellectual, it's real. Yeah, you use your intellect as part of it, you know, it doesn't deny the intellect, but it's very real. And just like, you know, growing up to be an adult, you can still learn a lot from your children. Growing up and becoming experienced in human design, you can still learn a lot from revisiting the basics. So I think this course, honestly, I think it'll become a standard, something that people will want to revisit. Mm-hmm. So you have that option open to you.
And that was one of the things. That question was one of the ones, or that the concept of was one of the ones that I had was in editing the videos. There was times I heard, I've heard Christopher say this. He said, he said stuff to me before, and you hear it, but you don't understand it. And there's times that whenever I was editing, that I was, I heard the words, and then suddenly something clicked, and it takes hearing something else to hear something else to be able to fully understand it. And at that time, it just clicked and stuff. There's little gears shift into place, and you're able to understand stuff in a whole new way.
Mm.
And those are the gems
So
that you
true.
get.
I mean, I have that happen in human design the whole time. I've heard about this for 7 years, and yes, I think I understand it, and then I have an experience, and it's like, oh my God, and now I understand it at a whole new level, and it's as though I didn't really understand it that well before, even though I did. It's just like now it makes sense. Now it's real.
All right. Shelley's asking, would you consider 2 installments for payment?
We will consider that.
We'll get in touch after. Or get in touch with Milsey.
Look, if that's an issue for you, get in contact with Carissa or myself, through the registration page or through our emails and stuff like that.
Yeah, at the bottom of the page, there's
we'll
a way
consider
to contact.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions, so I think we should wrap up.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Oh my God, we're still under an hour. Woo!
Yes.
Okay, everyone. Look, thank you for your time. I really know it's valuable. Hope this has helped you, gain the information and insight you need to make a decision one way or the other. If it's correct for you, go ahead. I'd love to have you as part of the course.
Hey, let's touch on the things. If you're emotional, how should they wait to know?
Yeah, look, 50% of you will make the decision over time. Well, if you know about human design, 50% of you need to take your time for a few days and make a decision until you reach emotional clarity. The other 50% basically know whether they're going to do it or not already. Basically, I mean, it's a bit generalized, but some of you already know, and maybe your mind hasn't accepted it yet, and some of you need to consider it. So you do what you need to do to make a decision that you know is correct for you. I don't want to work with people who are doing it because their mind talked them into it, or they're doing it because they're desperate and they'll try anything. That's not the right place that you'll get the real value from, because you'll have to surrender those things, first thing to do, before you can even get any value out of the course. If this is correct for you, if you're ready for this, then go for it, because I know you'll get value.
Perfect. Wonderful ending.
Cool.
All right. Well, I will see everyone later on the other side.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Daryl. And thank you, Carissa.
You're welcome.
See you all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.